The choice is yours. But I got to tell you, there is a hard way to do it. And I've done that. I did it by trial and error with no example to follow and no real direction from even my church on how to do marriage. It was simply a matter of trial and error. And my own fears, because of my past of being abandoned by my father, made me really nervous about the potential for being abandoned by my husband. And so that was the driving force behind everything that I did. It was about not losing him. And the strange thing is that I actually ended up losing him. He actually left. So that wasn't a good guiding force for me at all. Some women use manipulation and drama. And through manipulation and drama, they are able to manipulate their husbands into doing what they want them to do. And I've seen that happen over and over again, not only with clients, but I've seen it happen probably mostly in my personal life with members of my family and people that I've known. I've watched how these women do these really crazy things and the man doesn't leave. It totally blows my mind when that happens. But I think, I don't want to live that way, and I don't think you do either. That is another hard way of doing marriage. The next thing that people often do is they start collecting information as much as they can. We've got YouTube, you can search YouTube, you can Google things, figure out, what's this person's advice? What's that person's advice? And you're going to get a lot of conflicting information. And trying to figure out which one to follow is not really going to help. I think one of the things that bothers me a lot is that there are a lot of amazing Christian authors who have written books and tried to help people with their marriages, and their advice doesn't fit the situation. Or the bigger thing that I've noticed is that it never includes the man's side of the story. It doesn't give a balance of what's going on with him and her in a way that's respectful to both the man and the woman. And I don't want to put one down and the other one up in either direction, but that happens a lot. And even those that do address the gender differences in a marriage, they do it with, shall we say, humor of some sort. And in that humor, they're actually very demeaning to the opposite sex. I've attended presentations and workshops by people who were supposed to be talking about those very things, the differences between a man and a woman, what he needs and what she needs. And they actually spend a lot of time just poking fun at one another, which gets us absolutely nowhere. There are very good reasons why men and women are different, and I think we need to respect that rather than make fun of it. And then there's always counseling. Counseling is really expensive. I know, I used to be a therapist, and in that, I realized it was so difficult for my clients to do the kind of work they needed to do with the model that we had for counseling. For one, a lot of insurance companies won't even pay for couples counseling. So that means that you're paying out of pocket. And if you're paying out of pocket to someone who doesn't really know how to work with couples or who doesn't understand the importance of gender differences, then you're just basically pouring time and money down the drain. So that's why I really got early on into educating couples about one another and helping them see not just the woman see the man's side, but the man also see the woman's side. And sometimes people were ready for that and sometimes they weren't. I think there's kind of an expectation when you're going to professional counseling that you go and you'll go forever, or it feels like you're going to go forever. And at some level you want something to change, but at another level you just want to go and vent. Unfortunately, that's often what happens is a couple will go to a therapist and they spend 45 minutes to an hour arguing, venting to the therapist about how awful their partner is, and they leave and nothing has changed. There's been no intervention that teaches them, hey, here's what's going on. And here's what I think your partner is trying to say to you. So, how would you respond differently if you understood that was her question, or you understood that was what he was trying to say? There's not really enough of that going on in counseling, and it tends to be incredibly expensive in large part because it doesn't get you anywhere. Okay. And I got to say, I did some good work as a counselor, and there are a lot of good counselors out there, but you have to be very careful about who you choose. This is all about finding a better way, and that better way is the way of wisdom. It's simple and it's proven. Now, when I say simple, I do not mean easy. The answers are always simple, but they're very difficult to implement for multiple reasons. And one of those reasons is because of our current beliefs. We believe certain things about the opposite sex, and we have our mind so stuck there that it's difficult to move beyond that and actually think about it a different way. There's a saying that it's not what you don't know that's the problem, it's what you think you know that just ain't so. That's pretty powerful because I've understood that to be true in my own life in so many ways. We learn a lot growing up, and everybody has advice for us. And for some reason, we latch on to a few things and we hold on to them with a death grip, live our lives as though that was the absolute truth, when in fact it might not be. So be open. Look for the simple solutions. Look for something that seems almost counterintuitive and give it a try. The other thing about the way of wisdom is that oftentimes you'll get pretty quick results. It's not like exercise. You can go to the gym for months and months and months before you begin to see a difference in how you feel or how you look or how your clothes fit. But with these very simple changes that we're talking about, I'm going to give you a few of those today. But with those changes, you will see an immediate result. And that's exciting. But it's also a little dangerous because it can give you the impression that you've got it figured out. And that's your one tool, the one that was missing, the only thing you need to change. And that's not true because over time, things do evolve. And you're going to encounter different situations, and those different situations are going to mess with how you think about things. And you've got to go back and revisit the new information again and see, am I still doing it that way? Is there something that I missed, or are my feelings hurt? Is that why I don't want to do this anymore? Am I resentful because I'm the one that's changing? In all of the couples I've worked with, I've never seen a couple where the woman had a fixed mindset and have it actually be the man who needed to change. It's both people that need to change. And the sad part is nobody's telling us women what it is that we could do differently, that we could try differently. Nobody tells us that. And I want to change that for you. I want you to know you've got power. You've got tools before you that can make a real difference. But you're going to have to keep adding to those tools over time. Is it possible to have a better relationship? Yes, it's absolutely possible. And that's possible only with consistency. And that consistency has 3 parts. Keep learning. Learn something new about your husband every day. Learn something new about men in general. And then learn what it means for your husband. And then apply it. And after you apply it, then look at the results. When it works, repeat it. If it doesn't work, then you've got to back up and ask yourself, what is the reason that this might not have worked so well? Why did it backfire? There's lots of reasons for that. We don't have time to go into them today, but basically just know, be consistent, keep learning, keep applying what you learn, see what the results are, and repeat those things that bring you and your husband a positive outcome.